gauges. Because it's in the bowels of the ship, it gets really hot in that room, and there's 150 horsepower HPU running, so it needs cooling water. It needs air cooling throughout the room. It's quite warm in there if you go down in there to look at the thing. It runs on hydraulic oil, so that all has to stay in for it to run. And it takes quite a bit of power as well.
I think that's one of the nice things about these blue water dives is that we get to see parts of the operation that we would never see if it was all just ooh-ah, bottom time, seeing these amazing creatures and geological features. So thanks for that look inside the ship about how we make this all happen.
Yeah, appreciate the overview.
I noticed some yellow paint on the cable at one point. Is that a 3,000 meter mark, perhaps?
On the storage drum, you can see the...
Oh,
It was
yeah.
on the cable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when we
you can see it when it's on the storage drum.
when we put the new cable on, we have to. So the cable's supposed to be torque balanced.
I don't know what that means.
So there's armored stainless steel wires that make up that cable that wrap around. So the inner part of the cable has the high voltage conductors and the fiber optic conductors. And then there's 3 layers of varying thickness of stainless steel wires that are wrapped around in a helical fashion. So they're wrapped opposite, so the thing doesn't do like your 1980s telephone cord does and get all
Boing.
Torsion in it, get wrapped up.
Yep.
And once you put all that cable over the side and hang, so you have 5,000 pounds of Argus hanging on it, plus the weight of the cable itself, those oppositely wrapped spirals will put torsion in the cable one way or the other. And it basically will cause a twist in the cable and the conductors will fail. So when we put a new cable on, we run either a weight or Argus by itself, and we run it down to depth, and we let it spin out. So under that natural state of, in this case, 5,000 meters of cable hanging off the back of the ship with 5,000 pounds of weight on it. So we have probably 13,000 pounds of weight on the A-frame. And we'll leave it for a while so the cable will basically relax, so there's no torque on it when we reel it back in. And anyways, the marks, when we do that, we paint a line across the drum on the way out. And then when we wind it all back on, we can count how many spaces are between the marks, and we'll know how many times the cable turned. And we got, I think, close to 20 turns on cable before last. I think this one had maybe 8.
So you give it a good stretch, that new cable.
Yeah, that's why we're also kind of, we monitor the turns in the cable. It's a couple turns in there will induce torque into it, and then we wind it all back onto the drum, and that torque is telegraphed to the very end of the cable, which causes the wires to become unhappy. And that lets the smoke out. Or more typically, the fiber optic conductors run through a tiny stainless steel tube, and that will crush, and we'll lose communication, and all the lights in here go out.
Well, the viewers on nautiluslive.org are giving you lots of thumbs up for that explanation of this rarely seen part of the operation. So thanks for that. We have another follow-up question. How often does this cable get replaced?
So every year we do what we call a retermination. So the end of the cable that's attached to Argus has quite a complicated contraption on it called a PMI grip, and that's what's taking that 12,000 pound load. So every year we cut off about 10 to 30 meters of that cable and do a retermination, and we send that piece of cable off to be tested. And then after we do our retermination procedure, we do what's called a load test. So we get some giant water bags and hang those from the A-frame and fill them up with about 12 tons of water. And we basically pull on it to make sure it doesn't fail or move. And we actually do that a couple times. We do that, so that's a dynamic load that's hanging off the back of the ship, and then we do a static one where we attach it to the deck and pull on it. So we're testing a couple things: the welds on the various pieces that make up the system that hold the winch to the deck or the turning sheave to the deck. And then the piece we send off is actually tested to destruction, and there's some parameters in there. I think it's, 35 ton working load or something like that. So it has to pass, and if it doesn't, we replace the cable. But since we cut a little bit off every year, it gets shorter and shorter and shorter. So that cable on there, in fact, is brand new this year. 7,000 meters, 7,300 meters of cable on that drum. Should last us a while.
If you look at channel 3, you can see the quad view that the ROV pilots monitor. Shows them all 4 of these winch cameras at once, and it's just one of the many, or 4 of the many monitors that they have in their view.
It's really the heart of the system, that thing. Doesn't get a lot of glory, but without that, we don't get off the deck, or more importantly, don't get back on the deck.
Which brings up a question that is also flooding in on the chat. Is this the part that failed when the ROVs became detached earlier this season up near Vancouver? That was a very dramatic moment. You can read about it on our website, nautiluslive.org. There's some great information on there about the unexpected detachment of the ROVs and the seemingly miraculous recovery in just 1 week's time with the support of numerous partners. That is an amazing story of the ocean research community coming together, including my hometown, nearly hometown university. UW's ship, the Tommy Thompson, came out and brought their ROV to help rescue Herc and Argus. Back then, there is no definitive cause yet of what happened, but they are still investigating, and the cable was everything was tested, and everything is working well. We've done a few dives, so you can read more about that on nautiluslive.org here. And now we're seeing on Sat3 the A-frame. That's called the A-frame, where the cable is entering up on the A-frame there, down to the vehicles. That's a great shot. You can see we have calm seas out here today. Yeah, and it's a lot of moving parts here, not just on the ROVs, but just getting the ROVs safely down and safely back up again.
That was a perfect storm, is in my mind what caused the Argus to detach itself from the 6/8 cable, as we call it. And the cool thing about that story is when it parted, it was, I forget, I want to say 40 to 60 meters off the seabed on the side of basically a rock cliff, and Argus landed perfectly, remained upright. Herc probably never knew what was going on. It's like, what? Why are we going down here?
Just saw his little buddy falling past.
We think we had a long tether on there to support ONC doing the Ocean Networks Canada instruments maintenance, the engineering maintenance crews. So we think Herc never even knew what was going on with the height. Argus probably landed in the rocks gracefully, and Herc was just floating on its tether saying, what's going on? And Gabby was actually aboard the Thomas G. Thompson for the rescue operation, so it's pretty cool watching that machine come out and rig up both the vehicles for recovery.
It's also kind of cool because the ROV that did that rescue is sort of Herc's like sister vehicle. They have a lot in common. They run similar software. They have similar provenance. And that vehicle runs out of Woods Hole.
It's just, we were all, of course, aboard for that, and was just an absolutely phenomenal job on the part of the Jason pilots. They came in and attached a beacon to Herc as an abundance of caution. So they then subsequently came in with their manipulator and a bandsaw mounted on the front of Jason, and they cut the tether between Hercules and Argus, and then released Hercules and let it float to the surface. So that was a edge of your seat moment for us. But when it popped up on the surface, it's like, oh, ooh. And so we then launched our fast rescue boat, and the ship's crew went out and got a hold of the recovery line, put a recovery line on it and towed it around, and we lifted it aboard with the crane. And we weren't too sure we were ever going to see Argus again at that point. And there was a lot of speculation on, how it landed, whether it was upright. We knew it dropped. We knew where it parted. We had good navigation beacon hits. So, but there was speculation, was it on its side? Did it slide down the cliff? And we knew Herc was still attached because the navigation beacons were both pinging, so we could get a difference in altitude of that 50-meter tether. But the Jason vehicle basically did magic with its manipulators and was able to rig a couple slings onto Argus, and then hook up our 6.8, which we had rigged with a special, it's kind of like it's a preformed cable stopper, but basically it's a thing we wrap around the end of the wire to do load testing with. And they hooked that up to Argus, and we winched it back on the surface. And the only real damage,
I was going to say, how many scratches did you have on Argus? Like 2?
Yeah, we had, so the Zeus camera, the big camera that you see for Argus looking at Hercules all the time, amazingly, so that's looking down, so it hit the rocks, and the Gorilla Glass dome on there, we were really worried that it failed, and imploded, and that would have flooded the camera. And, but it just got a scratch, and the Mesotech sonar, which also hangs down below Argus, it was still working. It just, the head wouldn't quite index right, so
okay.
we were getting return. We used it on a subsequent dive, and we were getting returns from it, but it was, to the south instead of north, for example. The Jason guys were really nervous about that camera because there's quite a big volume in it, right? And if that lens would have let go while they were playing around with ROV, that can cause a cascading effect.
Yeah.
And other 1 atmosphere housings can fail. So if you release that much seawater into that volume at that depth.
Yeah. It's a big shock wave.
Yeah, the shock wave can take out other instruments.
Wow.
It's a great story, and there's some great video.
What's that?
On the YouTube. Sure. If you go to the YouTube and look for the video called Rescue Mission to Recover Ocean Exploration Truss ROVs, you can see and hear some highlights of that amazing, amazing rescue mission. And again, thank you so much to all of the partners that were involved and put together a rescue plan in record time, and had our ROVs back just 1 week after they were separated.
It was pretty cool having the two ships side by side. And so after all the drama of getting the ROVs back on board, there was literally fireworks.
Oh yeah, the Nautilus set off flares as the Thompson was sailing away. It was pretty awesome.
I was watching live from my house, and I never thought I would cry about an ROV, but I am not too proud to say that tears of joy when the word came out over the live stream that the vehicles were back on deck. It was a really emotional moment.
Yeah, it was surprisingly emotional to like come up on Hercules underwater, and it's just a very surreal moment.
It was surreal. We were surprised that Hercules was floating perfectly level.
Oh, that was probably the weirdest part of it, was how just sort of normal and hanging out Herc was. Just super happy there, just looking around. No problems in the world.
We're
wondering what took us so long, I guess.
Where you guys been?
We're getting some surprised reactions in the chat. Wait a minute. I thought Herc was really heavy. He floats?
Indeed,
yeah.
Indeed it does. That's what all the yellow bus part on Hercules is syntactic foam. So, and we're very careful to ballast Hercules so it's always positively, so it always floats. And that's, we usually shoot for somewhere around 50 pounds. So, if it didn't float, it would require a lot of power to hold it up, and then when we got anywhere near the seabed, we would have to, drive the thrusters the opposite way, which would, if we're on any kind of sediment, would instantly obscure the visibility.
Speaking of nearing the seafloor, we're at a depth of about 2,100 meters and descending at a rate of about 30 meters a minute. Yeah. A lot of our viewers are also chiming in about how emotional they were, and thank us for spending our blue time talking about the cable and the recovery incident. So thanks to those of you who are tuning in. You can submit your questions at nautiluslive.org. We are nearing our destination, and we'll be exploring here on Don Quixote Seamount.
Looks like we gotta have a lot of viewers right now.
Yeah. We track online how many of you there are out there on our website and where you're joining in from. So thank you from all around the world for joining in. We don't necessarily combine that with who's also joining on YouTube. You can watch the quad view either place, or you can watch the individual channel views. Right now we're looking at a great view of the beautiful weather here west of Hawaii in Papahanaumokuakea Marine Monument. That's in the satellite feed channel 3. We got our Herc and Argus cams in the blue water. Seen a few small organisms drifting up as we drift down.
Okay, Kate,
Question for you, Steve.
Which direction do you want to go when we hit the bottom?
So
it's kind of more confusing bathymetry here, huh? Okay, you want to go up the ridge?
yeah, so we're gonna go up the ridge and
Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, to get the radical bathymetry there.
See how it looks.
And our first moves would be like 200 or something. Argus, so right now I'm pulling Argus up. So Argus is going to end up upslope and Herc is going to be upslope of Argus, which is a pretty good arrangement. So I'm kind of thinking we can just head, I think if we go like 200, I don't want to go downslope too quickly because down is not that fun.
Yeah, Nav, if we could just sort of keep things moving along right at the edge of that steep slope, see what it looks like where the slope changes from steep to not so steep. Just kind of move.
So-
That 200 sounded pretty good.
So right around this contour.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yep.
it'll take, because of how I've sort of got Argus stretched out right now, it'll take a second to get Argus sort of in that direction.
Cool. So
We'll be
land.
holding for a sec while
Yeah.
I fly around
Yeah.
and Argus spins. I think we're starting to see the bottom on the Argus sub-bottom there too.
So what we're looking for on this dive is high-density coral and sponge communities that we
Okay,
have been seeing in
I
some
will
other
do that.
nearby seamounts. We also
I
have
need to get below Argus real quick.
some geology goals that we'll be hearing about from our awesome dater of rocks and geological Wonder Woman here sitting in my right-hand chair. This is the science, one of the science leads on this watch. And then we have some microbiological and geological kind of combined goals about altered rocks on the seafloor.
Dan, can you slow down a bit? I'm having trouble getting below Argus. Like, yeah, 20, 25, something like that. Great. Yeah, totally. Totally. Oh yeah, Argus is sliding back to the south really fast, actually,
Yeah.
as soon as I took that pressure off. Yep.
You were pulling on Argus, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah,
quite a bit.
makes sense.
If you want to learn more about the science goals of this expedition, which is named Lu'u'aea Ahiki Papaku, that is our expedition name, you can go to our website and read about both the name and its meaning, as well as our multiple science goals. I'd also like to give a shout out to our scientists ashore. They have been a huge help to us by
What's that?
our scientists ashore are in our science chat, which is not available publicly. That's an internal chat. But if you have questions, you can submit them through our website. That is also not viewable to you. That's only viewable to us here on the vessel. But if you submit your questions, we will get to them as we have a chance. We're going to let the front row do their magic, though, as we're approaching the seafloor. Should be able to see it come into view here very shortly.
As we slide south, Argus is coming over deeper and deeper water.
Yeah.
So we're not really approaching the seafloor that fast.
We're just extending the time.
Yeah.
It's probably
That's
making it more closer to our 2,450
totally.
target, actually. So
Okay. Now I'm sort of under Argus here.
It's part of our Olympics landing directly on the high pack point dive
Oh,
start.
ideally, yeah. There's definitely a gold medal in it for all of us if we do. Are we going to do that?
No, we don't have to, but we're really close to it.
I mean,
let's see.
Awesome. That's great.
17 meters from it right now. Well, if
Okay.
you were on the ground.
yeah, we still don't have Doppler locked, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so we
we're
are.
like,
Sorry, go ahead.
I'll just shift the map so that, no.
yeah, we're still like Herc is still like 70 meters up.
That makes sense.
So we're seeing some white things on the screen. People are asking what those might be. Might be tiny critters, might be marine snow. We have seen a few larger critters going by super quick in the blue water here.
So I am now out in front of Argus's motion. I don't know if you want to throw on auto head. And maybe make sure the thrusters are enabled this time. That was actually I've had some trouble with thrusters being on. I have that with Argus too. Okay, I don't know where this is going at all. Okay.
Yeah, so
It's another Dan story. He definitely needs some SPL.
yeah, we've had some trouble with the switches being in the official mode.
The what?
The official mode.
What's the official mode?
Yeah, so that's where the story comes in.
Okay.
F-14 pilot's testing a new sonar that the technician has spent days installing, and comes back and the thing is not working. I tried everything. And the technician glances in the cockpit and says, well, you have the switch on the OFF position. The pilot said, no, that's the official mode. I had it in the official mode.
The official mode.
So the technician glances in again, and he said, there's two positions for that switch. One is ON, one is OFF. So there was some label over the ON label. Some the pilot had stuck on there.
Really
picture
funny.
Of his wife or something.
I've definitely had a few of those already this cruise. I was trying to get my radio to work earlier, and it just didn't have my headset plugged in.
Yep, that was also me. Yep.
So if you hear, if I refer to the switch being in the official mode.
The official mode, that's amazing.
That's like the OFF position.
It's truly beautiful.
That's like thinking the camera's broken, but you realize you left the lens cap on.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, been there
Classic.
as well.
Classic.
Fantastic.
The other famous one is the DVL. I always double check to make sure it's
yeah,
on,
it's definitely on.
That's our only
I
altimeter.
definitely checked that one a couple times.
You're getting a beam or two. That's the other one to
Yep,
watch besides
occasionally.
that. So you
Pretty
can see
steep here.
You can see the cliffs encroaching in the Mesotech sonars there. The blue shadow there sneaking in on Argus and Herc.
You think that's at the cliffs?
That's definitely bathymetry there in the Mesotechs.
Oh.
Andrew, if you look over here, these ones.
Oh, yeah.
That's something else we watch because our DVL and our altimeter are quite, our altimeter is a 10-degree beam.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a spotlight, a flashlight, and the DVL is more of a floodlight, so I forget what the angle is on that, about 45 probably.
So as
Got
we,
3 beams.
3 beams, woohoo!
Yeah,
as we approach the
Is that
seafloor.
altitude?
See bottom.
I can see it.
All
That's
right.
Look at us.
Some special young
we're seeing the
viewers
seafloor.
joining us from Connecticut have a question about Herc. Does Herc ever roll or move along the seafloor, or does it always hover?
Herc spends most of its time hovering. The optimum altitude above the seafloor for us is about 1.8 meters, and that happens to, You'll notice when we're on a level seafloor, if we're below 2 meters, the Zeus cam really pops. We get a beautiful image. And it just happens to be the nice
It's like a lot
distance
of
from the
current.
camera to the
What's that?
seafloor.
Is there a lot of current?
But we often
It's not
land
clear to me yet because I'm facing straight into it.
Yeah.
There very well could be.
perch on a marble, as I call it.
Yeah, we can do some perching, some marble perching.
So the analogy I use, if you're walking down the hallway on a rocking ship, you often put your hand on a handrail for some stability. Or if you're using a pen, you rest your hand on the desktop so you can write legibly. Or in my case at the moment with a mouse, I have the palm of my hand on the desktop. So we do the same with Herc. When we want to look at something, we touch somewhere, any part of the ROV, it could be the bumper, anywhere on the skids. Sometimes it's the manipulator, but that just gives us enough stability to kind of push against that and give the back row stable zoom.
It would be great to do, well, we could do a Doppler reset right away so I can get into auto XY for the protocol.
Have you done your double tap on the altimeter yet?
My double tap on the altimeter.
Yeah, so the first time there's
That's my husband.
a bit of a bug in this software. The first time you engage the altimeter, it wants to drive the vehicle down for a rapid landing.
The altimeter, what do you mean? Oh, auto depth, you mean?
Roger.
Okay, so but
the
auto
first time
out
you
is
do it,
actually what you mean.
Yeah, auto out, sorry. So I'll engage it once,
Okay,
turn it back off.
gotcha.
First time you engage it, you'll see the thrusters drive hard.
Yeah, freak out, yep.
Looks nice and clear down here,
Is
doesn't it?
there room for you?
It
Oh.
does.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
I'm gonna bring my head to there a little.
Reset?
I am out of all autos.
I'm seeing some potentially decent rocks, so
Yeah.
we don't have
great.
to travel far as soon as you guys are ready to go.
Also, I'd love to do a white balance.
Yes,
at
definitely.
the
We're going to
appropriate
get
moment.
into auto XY, do the protocol, and
Are you happy to
I am,
stick that manip out?
yeah, yes, you can do what you need with the minute.
Okay.
Did you get the Doppler?
Copy.
Okay.
We're set.
Do you have Doppler showing up there?
I know this is somewhat frustrating for the back row, but we have to go through some checks and set up here when we hit the bottom.
Absolutely.
One is,
It's all part of the process.
now tell me, after we do this white balance, is the background less green?
You see a change at some point. Do you want to come up and we'll try to do a really good one? I'll try to fill with white completely. And is the porch light off?
Yeah.
I got it. Porch lights off.
Thanks.
I'm half colorblind, according to my wife and my wardrobe every morning, but
Well, we're so tight we might not notice the difference. But look at the white and see. We're going to go black balance first, so we're going to lose picture.
Roger.
Okay, I'm not sure why the DVL trail isn't turning up, but it's definitely set to DVL
Okay.
position source. And I know it's coming in correctly. It's
Okay.
feeding into my high pack, so I'll continue troubleshooting. But
Yeah, once we have video back, I'll give the autos a try.
okay,
how's your ballast?
And then
It's weirdly
white
good,
balance.
even though I haven't touched the vertical trim at all.
Sweet.
We have some other geologists chiming in from the science chat that, yes, those rocks look good. They're probably impatient, but we're going to get to it.
Yeah, we have a few
Are you
things
good
to
there,
do
Steve?
before
All
we
good. Thank you very much.
get
Oh
going.
yeah, definitely changed color.
Okay, I'm
All
gonna.
right, so
Can
now
I
that-
test my autos real quick so I can be in
Absolutely.
autos during the protocol?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, here's our auto XY.
Watch your thruster commands.
Yep, I'm watching them.
all right, I
The
see the
altitude
DVL
is the
and
one
it's
that
just
gets me.
And we've got, there's our auto alt. Looks good. An auto head. Okay, I'm ready.
All right.
right.
Everybody else ready?
Yes.
All
Ready.
right, so we are going to turn off the SPL mics right now just for a brief ceremonial protocol that we will be conducting in order to acknowledge and honor the biocultural resources that are present and that we plan to be interacting with and possibly sampling on this dive. This protocol has been developed for us by our friends with the Marine Monument, as well as the Cultural Working Group. And as we conduct this protocol, you will not hear us, but we will be right back on shortly. So I'll turn our SPL off now.
Do we have lasers on?
All right, let's do some exploring.
I heard something about lasers.
Yeah, do we have them on?
The lasers are, what are the lasers?
It's an interesting feature we
Lasers
came down
are
right in
on.
front of. Boy.
So Andrea, did you want to lead in with a rock sample? I
Yeah.
can't hear
I
you.
am so muted.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
yeah, this is a good spot to get some rocks. And you know how I'm always saying we want to get to the bottom of a cliff face or something where we see some talus angular rocks. That's exactly
Here
where
we
we are
are.
now. Yeah, exactly. So Dan, I'm sure, is elated. Let's look for an angular rock that
Ooh,
will
I
take.
see one.
Okay, that will take the full,
I see a few.
Land.
that will take full beams.
You want to do it on the fly?
Oh, with me floating? Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
you have to get a little closer than 8 meters. So
Yeah.
Manipulator's not that.
Go gadget craft.
So we want corners and cubic and
I like that.
can
big
take
one on the
full
left
beans
there.
and
Dan, you
doesn't
might
crumble.
need to get your vehicle
Don't
a
have
little
to put it in
closer
one of
than
the smaller
25 meters.
boxes.
Roger
Yeah,
that.
as a matter of
Coming
fact, since we're at the beginning of the dive, we might want to use one of the big boxes for multiple rocks if we can do that.
Sure, yes.
So you would like more rocks of not an excessive size in one of the big boxes?
Well, if the quality of the rock is probably most important. So if it's too big, that's okay. We'll take up the whole box, but we want a cubic, angular, big,
That puppy.
non-crushing rocks. We don't want it to crush.
Copy that.
Start circling them on your
Is that-
little football player.
Oh,
thing.
Yeah,
That's-
okay.
Is this too big?
This might be too big, but that's that's a truncated pillow basalt. It's a
Okay.
wedge from a pillow basalt that's been truncated. So if you imagine multiple pieces of that going out in a radial pattern, that's the inside slice of a pillow.
Yeah.
Do you want to give it a go, or do you want something smaller?
I think let's give it a go.
Okay.
All right.
Should be low enough there for plenty of leash.
Psych.
You're talking front and center there with the...
About 30 centimeters in the long direction. Maybe.
Does that fit in the box?
Yeah, it should. I'll have a better idea when we pick it up.
Well, luckily we're in
Get
a
the arm off of the
high rock
here.
population, right?
Target-rich environment.
Target-rich environment.
You're talking
There we
about
go.
this guy
Is that the
here,
one you were
right?
talking about, Andrea? Or the
Yeah.
one? Okay.
It's big.
So that he looks like a wedge of a pizza pie, right? So if you put a whole bunch of him around, they would make the inside of a pillow basalt.
Okay.
What are our
20
thoughts?
centimeters
Where
by
is it going to
30.
go? Do you want to keep it?
It's a big rock.
Yeah, does it look,
They always look bigger than they are, but
Can we get a spin?
yeah, can we get a spin? And it's taken full beans and it's not budging, right?
it's heavy, I can tell you that.
Okay, heavy is good because the more dense is the less likely that it's altered.
There's lasers for scale, so
Yeah, so it's
you.
about 30 centimeters along the long axis, yes, 35.
yeah.
Okay, and if we give it a spin,
Oh yeah, sorry.
That light sure didn't help.
Try and get it out here in the light.
see that nice angular shape?
Corner.
Yeah, so that's good. I think that looks pretty good. It's better than the altered ones that we were seeing last night. I
So
think
Andrea, you're saying this is a rock you would date?
I would date that rock. It's all over my Tinder profile. Yeah, so
Beautiful.
I guess we keep, I mean, it's really big, but it looks like it's a high potential for getting some crystallinity that we need.
All right. We got both big
Sounds like
boxes
something
open
off a
right now.
Star Trek
Okay.
episode,
Yeah.
the crystallinity.
Starboard bio box, one of the big ones.
Yes, ma'am.
Roger that.
And then maybe we can use the second big box later, well, and fill it with more than one rock
Yes.
so that we're
Okay.
saving boxes for other people.
Sarah, what sample number is this?
This is going to be sample number 60.
Okay.
Copy,
This
60.
may cause the vehicle to move a little. It looks like there's a pile of rocks right next to us.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you good with
I'm being
that?
a little slower on the manip because
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
Rock
rock
down.
down.
rock down. Can you
Right by
tilt
the
down?
porch, I guess.
Okay, sample tray coming in.
Yeah, if it's easier for you to tether it to the porch or put it on the porch, you can definitely, I know you've mentioned it a couple
There
times.
it is.
If it's easier for you.
So I can fly up just because there's a bunch of rocks.
No, I caught the manipulator in the bumper bar. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So we're getting a viewer question. What are we talking about with beans? They don't see any beans. They don't know what the beans are. We talked a little bit about beans in the midnight shift, but we know a lot of people were not with us at that time. It's the middle of the night most in most of the US. So
We're saying we're giving it full pressure. So if those grippers have 100 pounds of pressure or what they have, we want to give it the full pressure to kind of give it a squish test to see if it's still
you,
its
tilt up a bit?
crystallinity.
Yeah.
Or if it
Tilt up?
has been altered and is
I was
softer.
thinking about lifting up a bit just because of all the rocks to our side.
So when we say give it full beans, meaning squish it as hard as you can.
Well, that's heavy rock.
although sometimes when you hear full beans, it's about the thrusters and giving the thrusters. So it's just basically
They're metaphorical beans.
yeah, they're metaphorical beans, and they translate to basically give it all you got. So.
Pedal to the metal,
Yeah.
as it were.
You're gonna have
Hammer
to float up.
down.
Look at that, floating up.
I can't come around them. Too many.
The number of beans depends on which manipulator arm is on Herc. And today we've got the cutter with the claw, which
That
is
big
not as
rock
many,
wasn't my
You
rock.
want sample salvo?
No.
Okay.
not as
Turn
many
right so we can
beans.
see an Argus. It's more fun.
Okay. That's a great idea.
Look at all those great rocks.
Seemed
permission
like
to
the-
zoom with Argus?
I feel like they're missing a light there on the starboard side.
I know. It does feel dark over there.
It does.
It might be because we don't have those lights on. Yeah, it's because we don't have those lights on, Dan.
So
See much better now.
I'm starting to use my imagination with troubleshooting these days.
that was a real leap you made there.
I
I am
know.
so impressed.
Here, I can
Light
put.
was in the official mode is what you're saying?
Yeah, it was in the
Yes.
official mode. I can put the box out too. I had it in because of the rocks there, but
This is going in E or F?
I'm going to put it in the closest one here, so if I have to manage it to get it in there,
Oh,
I can.
okay.
Closest forward or aft?
Forward,
Okay,
which
thank
I
you.
believe
That's
is
an
E. It
So
is in,
that's
hey,
E.
the rock
in.
is in E.
Nice. Thank you so much. Yay. Very well done. And that was a way better rock than we got last dive.
Oh, great.
Okay,
Yeah.
You can look down if you want with your camera now. I'm done with
Yeah,
it.
okay.
When we were collecting
doing
the
lots of
rocks from
stuff.
Herc last night, Sarah picked up one and it looked way too light for its mass. And she says, it's not as heavy as it should be.
So our rocks from
It's
last
as
night
heavy
weren't,
as it is.
Yeah.
weren't
Seemed like farther upslope when we first got here was some really good stuff.
Yeah. So these are, you know, exactly what we like to see, these angular rocks that look like they freshly broke off and aren't coated with so much manganese crust that they're rounded and bubbled, and also aren't rounded and bubbled because they're they don't have any fractures in them. So we like to see the fractures because they're potentially exposures of more fresh rock.
Okay, Kate, I'm going to get to a position where I'm sort of out in front of Argus,
Okay.
and then we can do our move.
Yeah, I still think the 200 will be a good move, so.
Awesome. That
Yeah.
sounds great.
So fresh being only a few 100,000 years old.
That's right.
Or actually just maybe, you know, only 20 million as opposed to 80.
That's a spring chicken.
This is spring chicken.
How far, how deep,
Ooh,
I don't know how to
pretty.
say this,
Coral.
but how deep in does alteration go, Andrea?
It can go, you know, it can, if a rock has been in conditions where maybe a temperature fluctuation and it has cracks in it, or it has a lot of glass, you know, it can go in meters, that alteration. Ultimately, it will win the game over hundreds of millions of years. You'll get mostly everything altered to clay. So the older the rock is, that's why I always say it's harder to date. Now, are any of these small? Oh, there's the lasers. If we can see any cubic guys that are, you know, about 15 to 20, but are nice and cubic, that would be a good one to put in the bigger box so we could put multiple. But these are all great. You can see, even see the a truncated pillow right up there in the top of the screen with its radial pattern.
So
you're seeing
right now we
yeah.
don't have a ship move on. It would be a great time to, like, we can go back to places that you...
Okay, so if we could back up a little bit and we
Yeah.
look in there and see if we find a 15 to 20 centimeter cubic angular rock. This is looking like a debris flow or the bottom of a cliff face, so we're getting the talus rocks.
What about the one the lasers are on right now?
Yeah. We just passed it, but yet, yes.
Yeah,
I'll get right in there.
right above. Yeah.
Oh, this guy?
Yeah, look at that.
Lasers are...
Okay.
Oh, I was looking at the one below it, which is just smaller. I guess it's not that cubic.
Yeah, so if you can try for this guy, he might be attached.
That also looks like another big one.
You ready?
Yep, go for it.
Coming out.
She likes big rocks and she cannot lie.
I like
Should've
big
left that
rocks and I
thing.
cannot lie.
So you got a
Clean
holy
it up.
guacamole from Chris on that last one.
I'll take it as a compliment.
Oh, it's really loose here.
Yeah.
See,
that's
yeah,
steep
so
too.
Yeah.
it is a flow, right? I mean, it's where we're getting all this debris.
Gabby's making an avalanche.
Excuse me, you're helping.
Is it attached? Or if
Yeah,
it's
I am
attached,
Yeah,
it,
particular one appears to be attached, but
okay.
let me
Actually, attached would be good because then I could land on it.
thrust down a little bit.
Yeah,
Set her
totally.
down there in the rocks. And
Yeah, I'm going to set down on this, like, attached one right to the left of me here.
you'll have to give a little forward into the hill
Yeah.
as opposed to down.
Oh, that one that I thought was attached was not.
Oh, it wasn't? Okay.
But that's okay. We're fine.
Okay.
I lost the plot. Which one were we going
Okay,
for?
well, let's see. What about this guy up here? Is he within reach and easy? This
It looks
guy.
pretty chunky.
Yeah.
There's one right behind the arm right now that seems
It seems
angular.
good too. Okay. Remember, if they're thin, they're usually not good because the fractures go all the way through them and they're more altered. But this one might be cubical.
You'll need some ahead, Gabby. Otherwise, you'll just
Yeah,
slide down the
I
hill.
am trying to match the two.
Okay, you in a good spot there?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, circle one you like.
Let's see if we can get this one right in front of you. So
Right.
it's,
You say you want the smaller ones, but in the end,
well, that one, does that look like 20 centimeters?
Yeah,
Yeah.
looks like 2.
It looks
Lasers.
soft.
Oh,
Oh, let's see. Maybe give that guy full beans. He might be altered. Well, he's angular, but he's so thin. Does he seem heavy?
No, it's hard to say.
Uh-huh.
I don't get a sense of that unless we're picking up something that's approaching the...
Okay, I got a geologist on the line. Let me ask him. Kevin, do you want this rock? He's probably not listening now. Oh, no, he's listening.
we got quite a few joining us on the science chat.
Mm-hmm.
Looks
It's
good.
good.
Looks good. Okay, he likes it. Let's do this.
Roger.
Let's put this in a small box and see if we can get some more in the small box, leaving the rest of the bio boxes available for other scientists.
On the small box starboard side, yeah.
You don't want to put that in with the
I think it'll fit with E.
first one?
Oh, if you think it will fit, yeah.
Yeah, it could.
Oh, I can turn the vehicle around if you... Oh,
Nope.
it's down.
Did it break or?
No,
Oh, I hit the other rock there.
Avalanche.
It's still, there it is.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
This
Big
is
rock.
why this is a good spot.
Still there.
You might want to pick another one.
It's still there. It's
Okay.
under the dust on the left.
Yeah, it is.
Can you? Is that it right there?
No, it's right here.
Oh yeah, buried.
Right in front of that guy.
I just moved the vehicle.
That's okay.
Sorry.
No, it's all good.
Yep, right there.
That guy.
Yep, it's getting away.
Tilt down a
Normally
little.
it's only the bio samples that run, but
Yeah.
we got some rocks on the move here today.
I think
all
we
about.
just go for another one.
Nice one.
Is that the same one or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it totally is. I'm going to get up out of the silt a little
Yeah,
bit
you'll
here.
have to come up off the hill. I don't have room to swing around with these giant
Yeah.
jaws on the front.
And then I can turn around and we can get a nice view.
Ooh.
Nice view in Argus cam right now.
Of all the trouble we've been making. So yeah, if you can fit it in with a larger rock, that would be
Wanna
great.
Put the other camera back up there.
Can I zoom on Argus?
Sure.
Yeah.
Here, I'll drive into that.
On Argus view, which is our channel 2 feed, great view now of the sampling boxes open and the manipulator arm moving over that direction to place the sample, and then on sat view
And it looks
channel
like an
3.
eel is going to come into view potentially of Hercules. It's to Hercules's right now.
Oh, yeah.
See it in the Argus view?
I think it's higher.
Yeah, it's a little bit high. Make it fit there.
Come on, Rocky.
Looks like he's scratching his back. Hercules.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, if it's not
Alright.
going to happen, just put it in the bigger one.
All of them.
Thanks for
Open.
trying.
Oh,
Oh, wait.
I moved the other one. Maybe it'll.
It's the deep sea version of Tetris.
Deep sea version of me trying to pack for this expedition and fit everything in my suitcase.
Oh, I think you got it. It's close.
Good luck getting it out of there. Could happen. See if it will close.
Good view up there.
Scrape it off.
That was actually pretty fun driving Herc in the Argus cam.
Chris would like and I think the eel is gone, but when we can, let's get video of these eels. Chris was chiming in. I think he was a little bit higher than we were. I think we were a little bit deeper than that eel, right?
Okay.
Yeah, he
Is it
seemed to
closing?
be between Herc and Argus.
Great.
Did it fit?
Yeah, but
It's holding
Yeah,
all
but-
day, though.
yeah, but
What's on your mind there, Dan?
it's so the way the lid works on that box is once it closes, there's a contraption that forces the lid down
Yeah.
to seal,
Uh-huh.
and the rock's sticking up enough to prevent that. So the box is
Oh.
closed, but if you're doing DNA kind of stuff in there and you want that water to be preserved, that's not going to happen with the rock in there at the moment. You can see just on the right camera there by the quiver holster, there's a gap between the top of the box and the...
Well, we're not putting anything in there that is DNA sensitive. That goes to the front bio boxes that are left for Beth. So,
I don't know about the biology. Maybe Chris is listening.
yeah, I
Can
think
Yeah.
Chris
say
is
something?
listening, yeah. Because we can move
Can
it.
you come up and
Yeah,
show me the minute there for a minute? Make sure it didn't break the thing.
So thank you for your questions coming in on nautiluslive.org. We just saw a sampling of a rock for geological dating purposes. A viewer's interested in knowing what is the cloud of dust that we kicked up there? What is that dust made of that came off of the rock
Okay.
sample?
I'm good.
Okay, good.
Yep.
So, Andrea,
Mhm.
how would you feel about proceeding?
Yes, I think we should proceed. I think I want to get an answer to the question about the closing of the box and should we reposition that rock, just so that we don't leave another team with a task it has to do that.
My gut says we should. It's if we repeatedly open and close the box so that's sticking up there, it's gonna
cause problems.
Well, it's gonna tear the gasket up on the box.
Okay, so let's
right.
reposition it now.
On my part later.
Repositioning.
I'll come.
If you just auto
Yeah.
XY up there.
I will. I'll get you, if you can get a little view here.
Argus view again.
Yeah, I love that Argus view. It's awesome.
I might be able to Tetris it in there a little more.
Okay. Well, if you don't think you can, it's perfectly fine to use that other bigger box.
Yeah, Roger. Try not to spend too much time. It's just that one little bit sticking up and it's kind of sharp.
So when we disturb the rocks, we're disturbing these marine
Steve,
sediments.
you can go zoom on Argus.
Sure.
It's a combination of marine snow, which is organic matter floating down from above, and also shells of creatures. It's very fine grain and doesn't stick together very well, so we've been having trouble sampling that. But we will look for opportunities to sample the sediments as we go along.
Break that piece off of it. Maybe.
Thanks for your question. Another viewer is asking the multi-million-dollar question, I'm sure, which is, how old are these rocks?
That's what we want to know.
It is a friable rock, by the way.
Is it a friable rock? Can we
indeed.
get a zoom in on it in the top of the quad?
Yeah.
Or is that too
Yeah.
difficult?
We might be able to. Steve, do you have any more on Argus?
Yep, sure. Let's go.
Yeah, it looks
See
like
what we
it's
can
coming
do
apart.
The box will close now, though. That's the good news.
That's full zoom on Argus.
Okay. It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
That's all we've got on
Okay.
the Argus cam right now.
After all that, you want to take it out of there?
No,
You don't
no. I
like
mean,
that?
it's in there.
It's not like totally friable, but I was smashing it pretty hard there.
Okay.
Really
Okay,
hard on the box.
you can go like half wide on Argus.
As long as we know now we're getting a good seal, the box is closing its
We
appropriate
are.
way.
There's
You
that
saw
eel.
so I can show you if you look in the
eel?
image
Yeah,
right here
if we rotate.
of the box, you can see that lid.
Yeah.
This kind of as like
Yeah.
sucks in, you'll see the lid.
Yep,
go
I see
down.
it. Yep.
Okay.
That's what it's
There is
supposed
some desire
Okay.
to follow an eel that was just sighted.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris said
yeah.
that's okay if you can't.
I see
I
an
think you
eel.
can see it in Argus.
Can you go full
Oh, you
wide on
can?
Argus, please?
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, that's great.
If you
So where is it?
It's at the bottom of the Argus cam. It's
Okay.
just swimming out of frame almost. But if you rotate, yep. I'll let you know when you're lined up with it.
It's going to be hard. Oh, there it is.
You see it?
Yeah, it's right dead in front of me here. I have a little room to chase
oh yeah,
it.
nice, nicely done.
He's not really going to want to be my friend.
I'm gonna leave
Too
the
loud.
manip hot and sticking
Okay.
out
We're
there.
flying
Kathy.
over it now.
Oh, okay.
You see where the jaws
We're on
were
top
there?
of it, Steve.
Yep. If you come down, there it is.
There he is.
Oh, there he is. Yep. Hi, Ely Poo.
Go for
Oh,
a zoom
nice.
from here.
Nice.
Oh.
Very nice. Oh.
Hey, buddy.
Done a lot of fish herding with this ROV. I've never done eel herding.
Nice.
It looks almost iridescent.
There we go.
I love the bottom of their tails.
Two. Can we get a lasers off on that one?
Roger, lasers are...
So, not surprisingly, he's trying to
Oh.
swim away from me.
Yeah.
So I didn't get a great headshot.
And he's kind of, not surprisingly, pretty agile.
Yeah, no kidding.
So we've seen a few fish on these dives here. We've had a few sightings of a very cool looking anglerfish that looks super grumpy all the time, and it's bright orange. And seen a few other fishes. Very early on, we saw a fish that scientists ashore are still having some uncertainty identifying. We never know what we'll find down here. We'll keep our eyes peeled. And
Is that a mini sponge right below us there?
Oh, could be.
Oh,
The side of that.
And is it pigmented?
We haven't even left the
I
spot
know.
we touched down.
We could stay here all day.
Yeah, we could.